Good morning and welcome to CARILEC's live stream event where we take you through an inside look at our upcoming Engineering and Procurement Conference and Exhibition. This conference will be held from July 23rd to 27th at the Hyatt Regency Trinidad and Tobago. Today, I am joined with CARILEC's best, who will offer an insight into what you can expect by attending this conference. They will also look into the conference theme and agenda, providing a perspective on why this theme was chosen and the content that attendees can look forward to in this conference. We'll also have a look at CARILEC's strategic vision for the upcoming year and how this conference plays a role into CARILEC's overall mandate in the region. We will also look at CARILEC's current marketing and promotion strategy for this conference and also touch on our sponsors and exhibitors and our members and development partners who have all played a role in making this conference a reality. It gives me distinct pleasure to welcome on to this live stream event today, CARILEC's Executive Director, Dr. Cletus Burton, as well as CARILEC's Energy Solutions Assistant, Ms. Elizabeth Bullock. They will join us for this event to discuss the matters that I have already mentioned, as well as provide more insight into what attendees can expect for this coming conference. So at this time, I welcome on Dr. Cletus Burton, CARILEC's Executive Director, as well as our Energy Solutions Assistant, Ms. Elizabeth Bullock. Welcome and thank you for joining us today on this live stream event for the Engineering and Procurement Conference and Exhibition. So before we get into the discussion, I just wanted to also touch on the conference theme for this year, which is Powering Transition in the Caribbean Energy Sector through Smart Design, Efficient Procurement, and Effective Execution. Elizabeth will touch a little bit more on this theme and the agenda and why it was chosen for this conference. But first, I would like to ask Dr. Burton to provide an overview of CARILEC's current mandate in the Caribbean energy sector and how this conference plays an overall role in achieving that. Dr. Burton?
Thank you very much, Karen, and a warm good morning to all of our participants or attendees, persons who are viewing this live stream from wherever you are in the world. Warm welcome to my co-panelists, Elizabeth and Karen. Truly a pleasure to be here and to thank Island Innovation for this effort and platform in facilitating this outreach. We're very excited. We're just at the cusp of one of our major events for this year, the annual CARILEC Engineering and Procurement Conference and Exhibition. It is our largest annual event in terms of possible attendees and exhibitors as well. We just had a team meeting a few minutes ago and we are quite excited about the prospects for this year. And indeed, the theme is one that is, we believe, quite relevant, very useful in terms of accelerating the transitioning that we know is required in the Caribbean energy sector, and very much in sync with CARILEC's mandate and vision to be the premier association providing world-class electric energy solutions for all peoples of the Caribbean region. And so with this in mind, we crafted this theme for the 2023 Engineering and Procurement Conference, which will be held in Port of Spain in Trinidad. And we're looking at everything in the cycle of smart designs, efficient procurement, and effective execution. And being the umbrella electric energy association of the region, we're excited to bring professionals from various practices, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering. We're also excited about the collaboration with the Association of Professional Engineers of Trinidad and Tobago, in particular the electrical division of that association, who is spreading the word out there to invite their members to participate in this event. So very much the theme of the event is in keeping with the vision and mandate of CARILEC, and we believe it's very much aligned with developments in Trinidad and Tobago. So we look forward to seeing pretty good attendance from the local market as well.
Thank you, Dr. Burton. And you mentioned, of course, partnering with our utility member in Trinidad and Tobago, Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission. And just to let our viewers know that we have also partnered with our IPP member in Trinidad and Tobago, which is the power generation company of Trinidad and Tobago. Dr. Burton, if you could just elaborate on the importance of partnership with our members, especially with conferencing, learning and development, capacity building, in terms of ensuring that we reach the grassroots areas of the sector and, of course, impact the very people who are at the helm of the work in the industry. Can you just speak to the importance of that direct partnership with our utility members and all members for that matter?
Thank you so much, Karen, for that question. It is really critical in terms of how CARILEC as an association is structured. We have a very large membership grouping, utility members, 34 across 4 languages, English, French, Dutch, Spanish. We have associate and affiliate members who are more than twice in number of our utility members, 70 plus. We have IPP members, independent power producer members, and also now a few independent members coming on stream. So we have a large membership body, a large mandate, and a secretariat located in St. Lucia, staffed by about 12 to 13 persons. So this partnership arrangement is critical. So when we put on these conferences, the collaboration of our utility and IPP members, associate members serving as sponsors, and I'm very pleased to note that in addition to the co-hosts of TNTech and PowerGen, we also have on board platinum sponsor, MSHS, as a platinum sponsor for the conference. Emerald sponsor is a Greco. Our silver sponsor is a Celeron. And bronze sponsors, we have American Wire, BWSC, and Plastic Controls. So we put on these conferences in a very collaborative manner with the input and guidance and planning efforts of our utility members, IPP members, in this case, TNTech and PowerGen, and the associate members that I just listed as sponsors, and we do a collaborative effort in the planning and execution of these events.
Yes, very important, Dr. Burton. As you mentioned, our secretariat is headquartered in St. Lucia, and more often than not, we have conferences throughout the region, also in Miami as well, stretching to North America, and having the support on the ground of our members, particularly utility members in terms of the region, is so critical in ensuring that we have a successful event. They are usually our boots on the ground, yes, so to speak, in ensuring that everything runs smoothly, and they are also able to touch with other service providers for us and get the ground running. And speaking of getting the ground running, I know that we had been in collaboration with both TNTech and PowerGen in securing our keynote speaker. So Dr. Burton, if you could just provide some insights into this year's keynote speaker for the engineering conference, and tell us a little bit about what attendees can expect in terms of the keynote speaker and overall the keynote address.
Yes, well, we are very excited. We're able to secure a very high-profile, energetic, dynamic keynote speaker. I saw he's well known in Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Sanjay Bahadur Singh. He comes to us with a very distinguished background. He serves as the head of the Electrical and Engineering Computing Department at the UWI St. Augustine campus. He's a former deputy dean for the Enterprise Development and Outreach for the Faculty of Engineering. He serves on numerous national and regional associations in Trinidad and throughout the wider Caribbean, including CCRE and CXE and CrossQ. He has a long track record. If I were to read his bio, we'd be here until maybe midday. So he's very well established and a very dynamic speaker and engaging personality. So we look forward to his keynote. I haven't read the draft of the keynote, but I'm excited already about the prospects of what he will share with us. And so we encourage persons to be present from the opening ceremony on the Sunday evening for the keynote address by Dr. Bahadur Sheikh.
Yes, certainly. And of course, in typical CARILEC fashion, bringing together utilities, independent power producers, academia in this case, in terms of the keynote speaker, ensuring that capacity building and learning and development initiatives are maintained on all fronts. So thank you, Dr. Burton, for opening up our discussion on the upcoming conference. And now I will move over to my colleague Elizabeth, who I mentioned is our Energy Solutions Assistant. And she will take us through the agenda for the upcoming conference. So Elizabeth, quite a comprehensive and power-packed agenda, if I do say so myself. Offering a lot of information and expert knowledge to our attendees. If you could just take us through the various blocks that we have categorized the agenda into and provide some insight into what attendees can expect in terms of the content and in terms of the knowledge and capacity building and the knowledge sharing that they can look forward to in terms of the agenda.
Great. Thank you, Karen, and a warm good morning to everyone watching, listening. Yes, we definitely have a very packed agenda. Our agenda overall, it consists of 6 different blocks, which I would go through shortly. And each of these blocks, they would be looking at the various areas under our conference theme, which is power and transition in the Caribbean energy sector through smart designs, efficient procurement, and effective execution. So block 1, we'll be looking at charging electric vehicles, grid connection requirements, standards, and technologies. And one of the presentations from this block would be delivered by TNTech, which would feature feasibility study and design of renewable energy off-grid electric vehicle charging stations for Trinidad and Tobago. Block 2 would look at grid flexibility and resilience, that is power transmission and distribution of the future. And 2 highlighted presentations from this block would look at algorithm for distribution feeder deployment and sectionalizing, which would be delivered by TNTech. And then we'll hear about the Clean Energy Bridge project, which is Barbados Light and Power 33 megawatt medium speed diesel generation station. So this would be delivered by BLNP. Block 3, we'll be hearing about prosumers and distributed generation. So in terms of how to increase energy affordability and customer ownership for energy transition while ensuring reliable and financial resilience. And again, we'll hear from TNTech on this front in terms of their presentation being beyond net metering, the virtual power plant. Then block 4, we'll hear about energy modeling approaches, technologies and solutions for planning and simulating future power generation and grid capacities. One of the highlighted presentations here would be delivered by the Southern Caribbean Cable Company, which is a roadmap for energy market integration to realize the needed energy transition. Very, very pertinent presentations here. Block 5, we will hear from our utilities in terms of their case studies. So this would be our Caribbean best practice session for power sector modernization. We'll hear about the Virgin Islands Water and Power Authority's journey from concept to execution for effective overhead storm hardening through use of composite utility poles. And we'll hear from the St. Vincent Electricity Services about their Myro solar PV and battery energy storage hybrid microgrid. Block 6, we'll be looking at procurement and we'll be giving more emphasis in this conference on procurement. So we'll have a procurement track. And in this track, we'll have 2 featured expert speakers. One would be Ms. Diane Plummer from the Jamaica Public Service Company, JPSCO, and Mr. Bob Quartin from the U.S. Trade and Development Agency, the USTDA. And Bob would also be conducting a workshop on procurement on the 27th, which is the last day of the conference.
Certainly a very, very comprehensive and well planned agenda, of course, focusing on both engineering and procurement, key industry topics, very, very relevant for where we are at in terms of the Caribbean, the energy transition, in terms of the utilities, lessons learned. And of course, I am confident that the insight that will be shared will be very valuable to the attendees. And speaking of value, Elizabeth, can you just elaborate on the key messages that you hope that attendees can take away from this agenda? More so speaking of coming out of this conference, what is CARILEC's expectations in terms of what attendees can walk away with?
Yes, definitely. Yes, for this conference, the targeted resilience, decarbonization, and digitization of the industry are and will continue to be based on a variety of technology options and increasingly complex planning, procurement, and operational processes. And as such, we see that the time is now, so that we are all prepared to undergo that journey together. Design, procurement, and operation of energy infrastructure should not only aim for cost efficiency, but it should also include environmental, social, and governance frameworks. We need to strengthen our strategic alliances, cooperation among sector and non-sector stakeholders, and the active participation of citizens are key factors that will significantly contribute successful energy transition in the Caribbean region. So we do hope that these are some of the key takeaways that our audience and our attendees can go away with.
Of course, certainly. And finally, Elizabeth, I know Dr. Burton touched on this earlier, but specifically in terms of the agenda, from your perspective, what would you say is the greatest benefit to having our actual CARILEC members contribute so handsomely to the agenda? After all, they are the ones who are the forerunners in the industry, and they know the issues, the challenges, the solutions as well, more than anybody else. So from your perspective, what would you say is the biggest benefit to having our members participate in developing the agenda and also making their presentations on such pertinent topics?
Yes, I think collaboration and partnership of our members have really enhanced the agenda. And we see this from time to time from all our conferences in terms of, utility presentations and the best practices. And we see that these are the key success factors of the conference. Without these, we would not have, further development happening in and around the region. And these are what help to push further developments, further applications. And we think that this is one of the overall benefits of the conference, is being able to examine the solutions and the challenges and see how they can work forward on those.
Certainly. And speaking of the benefits of having our members collaborate and work with us so closely on building the agenda, I just also want to touch on the overall benefits of attending this conference. As we have mentioned earlier, this conference also entails an exhibition component. And this exhibition component is quite popular. And of course, with what we have mentioned in terms of the depth and of the agenda, and you have just seen the topics that will be discussed, again, very pertinent and relevant to the industry. Of course, taking part in the exhibition would be very advantageous to energy sector companies, those who may be providing various services or products to utility members as well, or utility companies. So we just want to make an appeal to remind you that the exhibition component is still very much open. There still are booths that are available and slots that are available. So if you would like to be part of the exhibition, you can simply reach out to us at events@carilec.org, and we will be very happy to assist you. Of course, we have premium booths as well as standard booths, as well as curved booth foyer as well. So there are various categories, and we can work with you so that you can select one that would cater to your company as best as possible. Also, we just want to mention that we still have some sponsorship slots that are available. Again, so we invite our members, non-members as well, who would like to be part of this conference and partner with us to contact us concerning sponsorship. And of course, just to remind you that in becoming a sponsor, you receive a complimentary trade show booth or a discount on a trade show booth, depending on the level of sponsorship. And of course, you also receive an opportunity to place an advert for your company in the annual CARILEC CE Industry Journal, which will be published in November of 2023. So making an appeal to our usual attendees to come on board with us and partner, whether it be as a sponsor or as an exhibitor or as a regular attendee. And so we have come actually to the time to wrap up our live stream discussion. Again, some great insight here into the planning and execution, the agenda, the content, as well as CARILEC's overall vision for its conferences and in terms of partnership and collaboration with its members. So at this time, I will invite Elizabeth to just deliver some final remarks in terms of the agenda and the content that attendees can expect from the conference.
Yes, thank you, Karen. So these topics, as you've seen, they have become more prominent for energy transition and grid resilience to be implemented in the Caribbean. There is still a lot to do as technology is becoming increasingly more complex, and there is a need for smart and efficient procurement. We've seen promising results already achieved, but we still need a greater push in the Caribbean. Given the wide range of solutions and processes, best practices and lessons learned must be shared and applied for greater efficiency through smart designs and holistic planning of the power sector, such as through digitization and effective execution. For example, AI, which is becoming very prominent now on the global scheme of things. And the complex process of RE grid operations, these can be managed more effectively and efficiently. And the same can be applied to procurement, as you would see. For example, energy, new technology and services, and design and procurement go hand in hand. And so we do look forward to your attendance. We look forward to delivering all of this wonderful, insightful content, and we hope that you can go learning a whole lot and continuing to develop this energy space.
Certainly. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. And as we wrap up, final comments from you, Dr. Burton.
Well, Elizabeth has put a pretty beautiful cap on this, and I will let those words stand. And simply now to thank our co-hosts, TNTech and PowerGen, our sponsors across all of the categories, our keynote speaker, and Island Innovation for hosting us on this platform, and the wonderful team at CARILEC Secretariat for bringing us thus far. Karen, excellent job in moderating this session, and thank you for hosting Elizabeth and myself, and the rest of the team in the back end making all of this happen. A special thanks to you and commendations to the team, and we look forward to meeting with our delegates from across the region and from Trinidad and Tobago to have a wonderful time during the conference from Sunday right through to Thursday, where we have a post-conference training workshop on Thursday, the 27th of July. So thank you, everyone, and see you soon.
Thank you very much, Dr. Burton, and thank you, Elizabeth, as well, for coming on board and making this discussion possible today. Again, we hope that it provided a greater insight and perspective into the upcoming conference. And of course, viewers, you can continue to follow us on social media, on our LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages, as well as our YouTube channel for updates on the upcoming conference, and also look out for special promotions and rates that may be advertised in the coming days as we head to Trinidad and Tobago at the Hyatt Regency for the 2023 Engineering and Procurement Conference and Exhibition. It has been a pleasure discussing with you today, and we hope that this short live stream provided more perspective for you in terms of what you can expect at the upcoming conference. So thank you very much for joining us, and we hope to see you there from July 23rd to 27th in Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you, and bye-bye.